When everything around you is falling apart, will you panic or will you pause? Will you break down or rise above? In the middle of the storm, there's one kind of person who always wins, the one who stays calm. Calm minds conquer storms. Life isn't always going to be gentle. There will be days that hit you like a punch, moments that shake your confidence, people that push you to your limit. And when those storms come, most people panic. They react without thinking. They say things they regret. They make decisions out of fear, not wisdom. That's when everything collapses, not because the problem was too big, but because their mind wasn't calm enough to face it. The ones who win in chaos aren't the loudest or the fastest. They're the calmest, because calmness gives you clarity. When your mind is still, you can see solutions others can't. You can think ahead. You can move with intention while everyone else is scrambling in confusion. Calmness is a skill, not a gift. It's trained in the quiet moments, when you choose to breathe instead of break, when you learn to hold space between the trigger and your response. That space, that tiny pause, is where your power lives. In that pause, you decide whether to react or to rise. And the more you choose calm, the more powerful you become. People will wonder why nothing shakes you. They'll try to figure out your secret. But the secret is simple. You've trained yourself not to fight the storm, but to become the eye of it. That center of stillness, the place where peace lives, even when everything else is spinning. That's how you win, by mastering your mind before mastering the moment. They test you to shake you. Smile and stand taller. The world will throw tests at you disguised as people, problems and pressure. Some will come to challenge your patience, some to test your strength, others just to see if they can break your spirit. The goal isn't always to defeat you, it's to distract you, to pull you away from who you are. And the moment you react with anger, insecurity, or fear, they win. But when you smile, not because you're fake, but because you know who you are, you take that power back. That smile becomes your armor. That composure becomes your weapon. Every time you face pressure and choose to stand taller instead of breaking down, you rise a little higher. You show the world that you cannot be moved, not by words, not by doubt, not by hate. And that shakes them more than any reaction ever could. You're not avoiding the test. You're just not letting it define you. You're growing through it, silently and powerfully. They want to see if you'll fall, but instead you walk through it with your head high and your energy untouched. That's the kind of strength no one can fake. It's earned, it's built, and once you have it, no one can take it from you. They laugh at you. They test you. They wait for your breakdown. But what if you never give it to them? What if no matter how loud the world gets, you walk through fire like it's a breeze? What if your silence is the most dangerous thing about you? Your peace is your power, protected at all costs. In a world that thrives on drama, conflict, and emotional reactions, the one who stays calm becomes unstoppable. Most people are addicted to reacting. Someone says something insulting, and they snap. Life throws a challenge their way, and they crumble. But the person who learns to preserve their inner calm becomes untouchable. Think about it. When your mind is still, when your heart is unshaken, you make decisions from clarity, not chaos. And clarity is power. You're not wasting time defending yourself, explaining yourself, or retaliating. You're focused. You're composed. You're 5 moves ahead while they're still trying to rattle you. That's not just peace, it's a weapon. And make no mistake, people will try to disturb that peace. They'll press your buttons just to see if you still bleed. They'll throw negativity your way, hoping you'll break your silence. But the truth is, your real strength shows not when you're clapping back, but when you're unbothered. When you're sitting in a storm, yet your soul feels like still water, that's when you've mastered the game. Because peace isn't weakness. It's proof that you've elevated above the nonsense. It's a sign that you're done playing small, emotional games. You're building something bigger, something that noise can't interrupt. So guard your peace like a fortress. Don't let every fool with an opinion shake your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your attention. Protect your peace, and you protect your vision. Silence in chaos shows true strength. Anyone can shout. Anyone can scream when life gets hard. But the one who can stay silent, centered, and composed, that person holds real power. Why? Because silence is discipline. It's control. It's the ultimate flex. Imagine 2 people in conflict. One is loud, erratic, desperate to be heard. The other is still, unreadable, calm. Who do you think holds the upper hand? The world respects composure because it signals that nothing can shake you. And when nothing shakes you, you become unpredictable. Unpredictability makes you dangerous. That's what throws people off. They expect drama, they expect tears, they expect rage. But you give them silence. You give them a look, a pause, a controlled breath, and suddenly they don't know how to handle you. That's power. And it's not about pretending that things don't affect you. It's about choosing not to show it. Because when you act as if nothing affects you, you starve the negativity of its fuel. You rob the world of its power over your spirit. You walk through hate, judgment, and challenges like they don't even touch your skin. Why? Because your peace is sacred, your energy is limited, and you've decided that it will only be spent on purpose, not noise. Hook, what if I told you that every time you react, you're handing over your power? That the more you respond to negativity, the more control you lose over your own life. Imagine becoming so mentally strong that nothing outside of you can disturb what's inside you. Not every reaction deserves your energy. Most people live in reaction mode, constantly triggered by what someone said, what someone did, or what life threw at them. They're exhausted not because life is hard, but because they give attention to every little distraction that comes their way. Every insult, every opinion, every inconvenience. They feel the need to respond, to defend, to fight back. And that's exactly where they lose. Your energy is limited. Every time you react to something that doesn't deserve your attention, you're spending emotional currency on things that don't move you forward. And here's the brutal truth. Not everyone deserves a response. Some people throw negativity your way not to hurt you, but to control you. If they can get you to react, they own a part of your mind. That's how manipulation works. It feeds off your reactions. But the strongest version of you, that version knows when to stay silent, knows when to walk away, knows that sometimes the best response is no response. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. It's understanding that not every fire needs to be fought. Some are better left to burn themselves out. When you choose what deserves your energy, you start living with focus. You stop entertaining the meaningless, and you start building something unshakable. That's how empires are built, not by reacting to every bark, but by marching forward without distraction. The moment you stop reacting to every piece of noise around you, you start controlling the narrative. You stop being a puppet pulled by strings, and you become the one pulling your own. Master your emotions, or they will master you. This is one of the hardest lessons life will ever teach you. Your emotions are powerful tools, but when left unchecked, they become your greatest weakness. Anger, fear, jealousy, frustration, they are part of the human experience. But when they control your decisions, your words, and your actions, they lead you to chaos. Emotions were never meant to lead you, they were meant to inform you. The difference between a leader and a follower is emotional control. The leader feels the same emotions, but responds with discipline. They don't let a bad mood ruin a good plan. They don't let temporary anger cause permanent damage. They know how to pause, reflect, and act with purpose, not impulse. The world will provoke you. People will test you. Situations will pressure you. And in those moments, you'll have a choice. Do you explode in regret, or do you breathe and rise above? Emotional mastery is what separates the strong from the reactive. It's what allows you to stay calm when everything around you is falling apart. It's what keeps your vision clear and your progress consistent. They talk loud, move fast, act tough, but behind the noise, there's nothing but insecurity. Real power doesn't announce itself. It doesn't scream. It doesn't seek attention. So ask yourself, are you loud because you're strong or because you're scared? The loudest person is rarely the strongest. In every room, there's always someone who feels the need to be seen, to be heard, to dominate the space with noise. They talk the most, argue the hardest, and project confidence like a mask. But here's the truth. The strongest people don't need to prove anything. They know who they are, and that knowledge is louder than any voice. Real power doesn't come from volume. It comes from presence, from the way someone carries themselves, how they listen, how they observe. It's the stillness in their eyes, the calm in their tone, the restraint in their actions. Weakness hides in overcompensation. That's why the loudest person in the room is often the most insecure. They want validation. They want attention. They need to feel in control. But the person who is truly in control doesn't need an audience. They're too busy building, learning, winning silently. Think about warriors, thinkers, leaders. The real ones rarely speak much because they don't need to. Their results, their discipline, their aura do the talking. And when you reach that level, you stop fighting for attention. You start attracting it effortlessly. Let others waste energy being loud. You focus on being effective. Confidence isn't noise. It's quiet resilience. It's waking up every day and doing what needs to be done, even when no one is watching. It's holding your ground in silence while others seek approval. It's knowing your worth without shouting it. Most people confuse noise with power. They think being the center of attention is confidence. But true confidence is when you're at peace with yourself, even when no one claps for you. It's when you can walk into a room full of chaos and remain unshaken, not because you're cold, but because you've trained yourself not to be moved by opinions, distractions, or shallow praise. Quiet resilience is built through pain, through setbacks, through countless hours where you kept going even when everything in you said stop. It's forged in the dark, not in the spotlight. That's why the ones who've truly been through something, they walk differently. They don't need to convince anyone of their strength, because they've already proven it to themselves. They're the calm in the storm, the stillness in the noise, the silent force that moves mountains without saying a word. They don't fight for control. They carry it in their posture, in their decisions, in their discipline. When you become quietly confident, the world notices. You don't need to demand respect. It naturally follows. You don't chase validation. It finds you. You become someone others want to follow, not because you're loud, but because you're solid, because your silence says more than their shouting ever could. You want to prove them wrong? Don't scream. Don't argue. Don't post about it. Just win. Let your results speak so loudly that they can't deny you, even if they want to. That's how the silent ones dominate. Let results speak, not emotions. In a world obsessed with instant reactions and emotional outbursts, being able to stay quiet and focused is your superpower. People will doubt you. They'll test you. They'll say you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. And you'll be tempted to argue, to explain yourself, to convince them otherwise. But here's the truth. Words rarely change minds. Results do. When you pour your energy into proving them wrong with noise, you're just feeding their game. But when you go silent and start working, every insult turns into fuel. You channel that emotion into discipline. You don't cry about it, you grind through it. And then one day, without warning, you show up with results so powerful that the same people who doubted you have no choice but to respect you. That's how real warriors move. They don't announce every step. They don't get caught up in debates. They stay in the shadows, working harder than anyone expects. And then they deliver. That delivery, those wins, those breakthroughs, those achievements become the loudest message you could ever send. And guess what? It hurts more. Because now it's not just words, it's proof. Unshakable, undeniable proof that you are exactly who you said you were. That's the kind of message no argument can compete with. So stop reacting. Start building. Let the world talk while you transform. In the end, results silence everything. Detach. Don't react. That's how legends are built. The moment you start reacting to every little thing, you lose your power. Someone throws a comment at you, and you snap. Someone criticizes you, and it ruins your whole day. That's not control. That's weakness disguised as pride. Legends, on the other hand, learn to detach. They don't become cold or numb. They just stop letting the world dictate their emotions. They build a wall between their peace and the chaos outside. When something happens, they observe it, process it, but don't become it. They remain focused on the bigger picture. They know that every distraction is a trap, and every reaction is a leak in their energy. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring about the right things, your purpose, your mission, your goals. That becomes your center, and everything else, opinions, judgments, setbacks, becomes noise. You stop living on emotional autopilot and start making strategic decisions. That's the mindset of a true legend. Think about the greats in any field. They've mastered this. They don't let critics slow them down. They don't let praise inflate them. They stay grounded, detached, focused, and that's what gives them consistency. While others are busy reacting to every wave, they're busy building ships to cross oceans. Detachment gives you the space to grow. It gives you the silence to listen, the clarity to plan, and the strength to move forward even when the world is trying to pull you back.